Hey everybody, what's good? It's a Tuesday, retired, enjoying life. Almost time for another vacation. It's coming. And I think I'm gonna buy me a new scooter. My old scooter's still out there, it works. But this scooter I'm gonna buy, it'll get up to about 90 miles an hour. So I'm excited. The future is bright. God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. We having fun over here. We are still dealing with the end time prophecies known as eschatology. But I wanted to take a pause for the cause and talk to you all about my good brother Sonetter. That's right. Because there is a narrative running around via Israel Doctrine and Gwenetta Greer. You know, those two ruffians, those two miscreants, those two terribly bad YouTubers, a terrible Bible teacher and a terrible student, those two. They have been talking about my man Sonetter for a moment. Now Sonetter has enough on his plate with beefs, Chris Harris going at him, and my friend Chris Harris, my friend Queen's Throne, and even my bestest friend Leaku has had some harsh words for my brother Sonetter. I stay out of that. This is YouTube. We like who we like. We coalesce and jive with who we jive with. And I don't think there's a YouTuber out here that has a YouTube friend that has another friend that don't like this one. It's quite common. I have a friend like Leaku. I have a friend like Chris Harris. And they don't like my friend Sonetter. It's quite common. And that's what it is. And I'm sure Sonetter has friends that don't like me. Like that one guy, the reporter, the gorilla reporter, what's his name? You know, the big buff dude. He don't like me, but he's friends with Sonetter. This is what it is on YouTube. You get in where you fit in, and that's what it is. But I wanted to take a moment and do a video about my brother Sonetter and explain to you all why we Gucci and gonna stay Gucci. Even though people like Israel Doctrine and the trout mouth child abusing ex-prostitute Gwenetta Greer, even though they are over there claiming that me and Sonetter have fallen out, that we don't fuck with each other no more. That's what they say. I got a new channel. Of course, I don't have a wrench on Sonetter's. And they use things like that. Sonetter ain't gave him no wrench. You know, stuff like that. Anything to create a narrative that me and Sonetter got beef, which we don't. And I can report to you that today, what is this, Tuesday, July the 15th? Today, 45 minutes ago, I was on the phone with Sonetter. That's right. I said I was on the phone with Sonetter 45 minutes ago. We hadn't talked in about, I don't know, 8-9 months. Hell, it might be a year. But that doesn't mean there was a problem. But since Israel Doctrine and Gwenetta Greer was claiming that me and Sonetter got beef, and I'm thinking, I don't know how, according to Israel Doctrine, because I ride with Leaku. That's my baby. That's my heart. That's my YouTube wife. It's my queen. But Leaku ain't really had no bad words for Sonetter. Now, Queen's Throne, that's another issue. she got a lot to say to Gwenetta. But I support Queen's Throne overall when she talks about missing children and stuff like that. I don't get into it, or, you know, when she starts talking about my friend Gwenetta, I stay out of that. Same thing with my friend Unseen Soldier. I love Unseen Soldier. Respectfully, I love Unseen Soldier's videos. I love his videos. I love the way he gives it up. I love the way Unseen Soldier articulates what he's trying to get across. Don't know him, but I love what he does. And I know that Unseen Soldier has an issue with my man Gwenetta too. I love Chris Harris. I love Chris Harris. He reminds me of a young me. I love how he spits the knowledge, and he really is very, you know, analytical. I love his speech and his diction. I love how he gives up sources and cross-references. I love how he's very didactic and persuasive in his debates and in his videos. He too has an issue with my man Gwenetta. I stay out of that. I stay out of that. I'm 65 years old. I only have one beef on YouTube, and that's with Israel Doctrine. I don't need to get, you know, lend my voice and get all mixed up into these other, you know, intersectional beefs that are going on. But going beyond all of that, for those of you who don't know why I'm so cool with Gwenetta, why I call Gwenetta my brother, I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why I'll never disrespect Gwenetta, go against him, or beef with Gwenetta, none of that. Irregardless, even though that's not a word, of what everybody's saying about him and what's going on, I still stand with Gwenetta for personal reasons. And the personal reason is, as some of you all might know, I came out in these YouTube streets telling my religious cult story, and in telling you all my story about being in the Hebrew Israelite Yahweh ben Yahweh cult, I also confessed that I was a government informant and that I was one of many that helped put Yahweh ben Yahweh behind bars. I wrote a whole book about it. It wasn't secret. I published this book in 2007 about me being a government informant and the Yahweh case. And so when I came on YouTube, I shared that. And of course, I was met with hostility and vitriol and venom. Even my good brother Gwenetta in the beginning had some tough words for me. But somewhere along the line, I'm a man of a certain age, as my good brother Troy Star Terrain would say. I'm 65. And Gwenetta, I believe, is 60 or 61. He's younger than me. But we're still in the same bracket age group. And Gwenetta was able to listen to my story in proper context and realize that this ideal of me being, you know, some kind of government informant that just went out there to take Yahweh ben Yahweh down was a false narrative. Gwenetta would even go on to tell people like Hassan Campbell on the phone. I got the audio, I got the video. Gwenetta would tell people like Hassan Campbell he should be like Khalil Amani, and that Gwenetta considers Khalil Amani a superhero. These are the kinds of things that Gwenetta was saying about me after he stood my story in context. And I had big respect for him because as someone in the conscious community, pro-black, Afrocentric, black nationalist, pan-Africanist, I am the scourge of all that they represent. A fucking FBI government informant. But Gwenetta, being the free thinker that he is, said, no. I am not going to put Khalil Amani with all that other Jag or Hoover, COINTELPRO, government informant, snitch, rat bullshit. That there are circumstances whereby we need to get bad so-called black leaders off the street. We need to get the Malachi Z. Yorks off the street. We need to get the Yahweh Ben Yahwehs off the street. Because they play on our negritude. They play on our blackness. They play on our Afrocentrism. They play on our black nationalism. And they play on our Pan-Africanism. And they play on our religious zeal for esoteric and hidden knowledge. And then they fuck our children like Malachi Z. York did. And then they fuck our children like Yahweh Ben Yahweh did. And they murder us like Yahweh Ben Yahweh did. And so it takes a bold motherfucker to put his blackness to the side, to put his consciousness to the side and say, I got to talk to the FBI about this motherfucker because he is a detriment to the black community and he's a detriment to black progress. And that was the story of Khalil Amani's so-called government informing. And so my brother Gwenetta, he understood in context what it was about. Not to mention that, you know, I wrote a book about my life. There's another book written by a lady who won 2 Pulitzer Prizes in journalism about my life, where she even signed it and said that Lloyd, my old name was Lloyd, that I am the bravest man she knows. This is from the author to Lloyd, the bravest man I know. Because when you understand my story in context, you throw all that stupid government informant bullshit out the window and you realize maybe, just maybe, Khalil was a hero. And Gwenetta aptly calls me a superhero. I got the video. I should have had it ready for you to hear, but I don't have it up. I don't have it up. But this strange narrative that's going around, it's not really going around. It's just Israel Doctrine and Gwenetta Greer. You know, those 2 bum-ass niggas over there, that all they have is each other. Every ideal and every lie, they bounce it off of one another. This woman, Gwenetta Greer, who called herself the YouTube Streets Queen, now she's trying to create a fake beef with my dear brother Gwenetta. Gwenetta has never done nothing to that woman. She's creating a fake beef. She mad because Gwenetta plays and toys and finger fucks Israel Doctrine by coming on Israel Doctrine's channel on a few occasions and challenging Israel Doctrine to a debate. And says, yeah, tomorrow, we'll do it tomorrow. And then Gwenetta gets ghost and don't do the debate. Jeremiah chapter 7. That's what she's mad about. She's mad because my dear brother Gwenetta has gone on Israel Doctrine's channel a few times, once or twice, and have challenged Israel Doctrine to a debate and then didn't do the debate. We all knew that Gwenetta was just toying with Israel Doctrine. We all knew that Gwenetta was just dingling and finger fucking that nigga, because Israel Doctrine is such a weak character that he actually thought that Gwenetta was going to debate him. Gwenetta is not even a real debater, But Sonnetta's biblical information, I must say, he's come a long way, baby. That guy is getting up to speed. Shout out to his wife, Napah Shadah, because I think that Napah Shadah is among the top and elite Bible teachers in the community. Man or woman, that woman is brilliant. That woman is brilliant. And so Sonnetta has a brilliant Bible teacher and Bible comrade in his wife, Napah Shadah. And so Sonnetta will remain my brother for life because he took the hard road when it came to Khalil Amani. He embraced me as his brother. He invited me to his house. He introduced me to his wife. He allowed me to teach from his couch or his chair from his house. He's been nothing but gracious towards me. That is my testimony. That is my testimony. He treated me like a brother. In rough times, when Khalil Amani came out and the conscious community heard that I worked for the FBI and was a government informant and that I had gone into the witness protection program, the conscious community went bonkers. How dare Sonnetta embrace such a character? How dare he do it? But Sonnetta, being his own man, with his own autonomous, free-thinking mind, said, no, Khalil is my brother. Damn what you niggas say. And for that, I got to rock and roll with him, even in the midst of all the other things being thrown at Sonnetta. I don't get involved in it because I'm an old man. I hear it all, but I stay out of it. Don't ask me to oppose my dear brother Sonnetta because he stood alone and represented Khalil Amani and told niggas on his own platform, I fucks with him. I fucks with him. And so I fuck with him. And so even though people like Israel Doctrine and Gwenetta Greer, you know, Dumb and Dumber, because they have not seen me over there on Sonnetta's channel, they think Sonnetta and I have beef. They think Sonnetta has thrown me in the garbage can. Well, they're absolutely 1,000% wrong. Again, I just talked to Sonnetta about an hour ago, and he said what I wanted to hear, and that was, we ain't got no beef. What? No, you my brother. And I said, we ain't got no beef. Sonnetta said, I ain't heard you been banging on me because I haven't been banging on him. There's no reason, I have no reason to bang on Sonnetta. And he has no reason to bang on me. Because I would hope that just because I might be cool with some people that are banging on him, he don't hold that against me. Because I know there are people over there, Herman Smalls, that's his name. The guerrilla journalist, Herman Smalls, I know he doesn't like me. I know he bashes me. I know he told Sonnetta I would never interview Khalil Amani. But that's Sonnetta's friend. But I don't hold it against Sonnetta because he has a nigga over there that don't like me. Don't want to understand my story. Who thinks I'm the scourge of black nationalism, Herman Smalls. That's Sonnetta's friend. I respect it, and I would never make Sonnetta try to choose between a relationship and a friendship with me versus Herman Smalls. You can be both of our friends. We just don't fuck with each other, me and Herman. Likewise, I would hope that Sonnetta would never put me in a position to choose between Leak You and Chris Harris, the people that I fuck with. Again, when Chris Harris is going at Sonetta, I stay out of it. No comment. I leave it alone. When Queen's Throne is going at Sonetta, I stay out of it. No comment. I don't drop down in the comment section in the lives. Sometimes I watch them, but I stay out of it because I'm not going to get caught up in that type of drama. I have one drama, and that's Israel Doctrine and his side bitch, Gwenetta Greer. But Israel Doctrine and Gwenetta Greer are over there claiming that Sonetta doesn't fuck with me because I don't have a wrench over there. My channel is new. For all I know, Sonetta doesn't even know my new channel. I'm about to break 100 subscribers any day now. But they rationalize that because I don't have a wrench on Sonetta's, I'm talking about Pizzy and Gwizzy, Israel Doctrine and Gwenetta Greer. They rationalize because Sonetta doesn't play my videos over there. They rationalize because Sonetta hasn't had me on his show or in his live. That Sonetta got an issue with me. And that's simply not the case. The simple case is I've had channels knocked down and I've had to rebuild channels. And going beyond that, I am simply not the type of YouTuber like a lot of the people on Sonetta's channel that you see daily. Whenever he drops the link, they jump on camera. I'm not one of them. I'm too old to go back and forth and debate and shout and name call and add homonyms and just be acting crazy and being disrespectful and being disrespected. I'm too old for that. And I really have a lot to teach over here. I didn't come on YouTube to be a debater. I did 2 debates and then I realized, whoa, Khalil, that's not what you're here to do. You are a teacher extraordinaire and you are to teach and put the information on YouTube and allow people to do what thou wilt. Your job is not to put the information out here and then debate people who disagree with the information. If they disagree, let them disagree. If they disagree, go make a video and correct me. But my job has never been to come out here and show my spectacular vernacular. My job has never been to go back and forth with a motley crew of miscreants that I don't know from Adam. My job is not to have arguments and debates with people that may not be on my level of historicity, of religiosity, and of academia. I know my worth. I know what I've done. I know what schools, colleges, and universities I've attended and graduated from. I know my literary game. I've written 6 books. I've written 6 books. I know my worth and I know my accomplishments. There ain't too many people that Sonetta may interview that has my acumen. As media goes, I've been on national TV 6 times. As media goes, I've been in all types of places like the LA Times and the Denver Post and the Miami Herald and the Miami New Times and Spin Magazine and Straight Stuntin' Magazine. And People Magazine. Don't let me forget. I said I've been in Spin Magazine. I said I have been in People Magazine. I know my worth. I'm a jewel to have over there whenever I choose to go over there. I said I've been in People magazine. That's me right there in the turban. The most popular magazine in America. I've been on Fox News. I've been in Newsweek, In Touch Weekly. My media game is par excellence. I know my worth. It's a blessing for someone like Sonetta to have such a renowned and acclaimed speaker on his channel. I know my worth. But this ideal that Israel Doctrine and Gwenetta Greer claiming that Sonetta don't fuck with me. I said I just got off the phone. And no, I don't record calls. I don't have to prove to you that I was on the phone. I'm telling you, I was on the phone with Sonetta. And we had a wonderful, beautiful, short, but powerful conversation. He got no issue with me. I got no issue with him. He got no beef with me. I got no beef with him. And then, after all of that, Sonetta said, you know, you are welcome on my channel. He says, whenever you want to do something, whenever you want to speak on my channel, just let me know. He has given me carte blanche, free reign, that when I want to speak on the Sonetta's channel, I have an open invite. Can Israel Doctrine say that? No. And his bitch, Gwenetta Greer, Sonetta doesn't know that bitch. And Sonetta is never going to respond to that bitch. Because Sonetta don't know her to have an issue with her. She got all the issue with him. Even though if we ran down Gwenetta Greer's resume, if we ran down Gwenetta Greer's background, it's far more egregious than mine and Sonetta's and anybody. Even more egregious than Israel Doctrine. For this woman who's trying to start a fake beef with Sonetta was a whole whore once upon a time. She was a whole prostitute. We got the goddamn articles from the Norfolk Police Department. That information is out there. I got it, and my good sister Leak You or Interloper Nation, she has it. We aren't just disparaging that woman's name. We aren't just making up shit about that woman. Gwenetta Greer was a whole prostitute at one time. Pussy was her occupation at one time. She was arrested 2 times for prostitution in Norfolk, Virginia. I'm not bringing up the receipts now. I've already done it. But this woman says she got an issue with Sonetta and the conscious community. A woman that was a whole lady of the night. A whole streetwalker. A whole whore. A whole prostitute. A whole woman of ill repute. Got nerve to have an issue with Sonetta and the conscious community. She ought to sit down and shut her former prostitute ass up. Not only that, this same woman that's creating this fake beef with my brother Sonetta, she got a whole child abusing jacket that she wears. We got the receipts for that. We got her own words as she spoke on a woman named Mrs. Meat's channel, where she said she ain't seen her kid in 6 years, where she said that when her kid was in foster care, out of her care, because the state of Alabama took that child, and that child was starving so bad that that child got down on bended knees on all fours and was eating dog food out of a dog bowl. it's her fault because the child should have never been taken away from her if she was a good mother. And we got the most recent, the Mobile, Alabama newspaper. The state of Alabama put 4 articles in the Mobile, Alabama newspaper looking for this woman who's on YouTube, looking for her whereabouts. Wanted to know where is she? Why was the state of Alabama looking for her? Because her son was in foster care and her son is about to become an adoptee. And the state of Alabama is saying, we are going to take your parental rights away from you. We got the articles. We've shown them. I'm not here to do that on this particular video. She's on YouTube. Priorities all fucked up. Worried about my relationship with Gwenetta. Trying to create a fake beef with Gwenetta. Meanwhile, she got a whole son that's in crisis. A whole son that is now the child of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. A whole child that she gave up. A whole child that once all of these revelations came out that the child was in the care of the foster system, you know what she said when the article came out that the child was about to be adopted? You know what she said? She told my good friend, YouTuber Leak You. She said, why don't you go adopt the little bastard? And I quote, Israel Doctrine's queen said that about her own biological son that came from between her thighs. She told my friend, YouTuber Leak You, why don't you go adopt the little bastard? And this is the kind of woman that claimed she got an issue with my brother Gwenetta and the House of Consciousness. She's in no moral position to talk anything, any type of shit about Gwenetta or the House of Consciousness. But she's creating a fake beef on behalf of Israel Doctrine. Because you could clearly see Israel Doctrine, although he claims, I'll go over to the conscious community because I'm here to destroy the conscious community. He blatantly says, I am here to destroy the conscious community. But then he wants Gwenetta to bring him up on camera. And Gwenetta keeps dropping that bum ass nigga like a bad fucking habit. And they mad about it. So she's making a fake beef because Gwenetta once teased Israel Doctrine about debating him. We all knew he was just teasing and joshing and joking and tickling Israel Doctrine's clitoris. That's all he was doing. And so this woman, this trout mouth child abusing queen, is mad at Gwenetta because Gwenetta teases Israel Doctrine about doing a debate, but then don't show. And we all know he wasn't going to show because we all know Gwenetta doesn't have time for the bullshit. And so, how much time I got? I don't want to be here too long. So they're over there claiming that Khalil Amani and Gwenetta got beef. They're over there claiming that Gwenetta doesn't fuck with me. I said, at the sake of being redundant, I just got off the phone with Gwenetta an hour ago. We Gucci, we good, everything is wonderful. He's even invited me. He said, anytime, brother, you my brother, anytime you want to come on and speak and teach, talk about your cult story, government stuff, whatever, you come over here, you got a welcome invitation. But bum niggas like Israel Doctrine would love for people like Gwenetta to tell him, you're welcome over here. You have an open invitation over here. I don't have no enemies outside of Israel Doctrine. And any other person that might not like me or might not be their cup of tea, they're not speaking on it. They're not attacking me. And I expect that some people will say, I can't really fuck with Khalil like that. I get it. I'm a hard pill to swallow. But I'm a nice old man. I'm a very sincere and kind and gentle elderly gentleman. And I have been supporting Sonetta financially 4 or 5 years. Let me just show you. See, everything I do, I don't come out here and announce when I give someone a cash app. But for the sake of them thinking that we got beef, me and Sonetta, let me show you the last 4 years of my financial support. You see, I understand that Sonetta doesn't work a 9 to 5. I understand that his business and the way he makes his money and feeds his household is by bringing on teachers. I don't care what no one says, I respect the fact that Sonetta brings on people that have great information that we might never have heard of. Black and white and other scholars, men and women, scholars, authors. He really brings us information. And because I'm a reader, I'm a writer, I'm an author, I'm a teacher, I respect people that teach. I respect Sonetta's teaching. I respect Chris Harris's teaching. I respect teaching. And when I respect somebody and I know that their only livelihood, their only source of income is what we give them to bring the information, I try to support as much as I can. Bum niggas like Israel Doctrine who don't work nowhere. I have never financially supported him. I've never given him a penny because I recognize he was on some other shit and he had no information and he strictly wants to talk about being a Hebrew Israelite. That's all. And then I realized he was just a bum person that did not have any desire to work. Sonetta gets up every day and spends hours interviewing and debating and arguing and setting up debates and giving us the information. And for that, I have supported him. Let me just show you real quick. Again, I don't go around making a habit of showing who I cash apped. But for the sake of this, we're going to go back to 2001. For the sake of this conversation, I want to show you some of the cash apps I've sent to my good brother Sonetta over the years. We'll start with 2021, I believe. Let's see. Okay, here we go. February 26th. No, February 13, 2021, right here. I sent Frank Gary, aka Sonetta, $25. February 13th, 2021. I sent him $25. Let's add that money up while we're doing it. See how much money I've invested in Sonetta. Okay, there's 25. Let's go on up. Let's see. Let's go up. Let's see. Maybe I only sent them $25. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. Okay. July. Oh, you can tap on. Oh, there it is. July 2021. I sent Frank Gary, aka Sonetta, another $20. Okay? Let's go on. Let's see how much money I sent them. September of 2021, I sent Sonetta $50. I have been a supporter of Sonetta since he brought me into, the conscious community to tell my story. I know Israel Doctor is mad as fuck that he hasn't gotten 10 cents from me. I sent Sonetta another $50. Let's add this up. That's 5, and so far that's $95. $95. Let's go on down. Oh, there's another one. December 28, 2021. I sent Sonetta another $50 in December of 2021. Let's add that. That's 5. That's $145 so far. I never do this, but I want to prove a point. Okay. February 2022. I sent Sonetta a $20. That's 5 and that's 6. That's $165 so far. It's a flex. June 2022. Happy Father's Day, Sonetta. I sent Sonetta a $25 donation for Father's Day 2022. Let's add that 25 on, and you get 10 and 9. That's $190 so far. Let's see. Maybe that's the last one. I don't know. No, it's not. Oh, 2022, August. I sent Sonetta a $100 donation. Let me put that. That makes $290. I know Israel Doctrine is mad as a wolf. I never sent that nigga $1. And I sent my friend Frank Gary, aka Sonetta, a $100 donation in August of 2022. I forgot about these donations. I'm like, when did I do that? Okay, let's see what else. Man. Okay, December 2022. I sent Frank Gary, aka Sonetta, a $50. Add that. That's $340. I sent Sonetta. See? And I honestly don't remember all this, because when you got money, you're not pressed about it when you send it out. Let's see what else. Let's see if we got any more. 2022. Just for shits and giggles, I sent Miss Lady Wills $100 once upon a time. Just for shits and giggles. I sent her more than that. Oh, here's another one, Lady Wills. I sent her $50. See? I said lunch is on me. I do that to my friends. Let's see. Let's see. A lot of stuff from my grandkids. I'm sending money to them. Let's see. And I recently sent, June 17th. This was this year. This was this year since I've been retired. That was 2 weeks ago. I sent Sonetta $25. Just add that 6. That's $365. That was 2 weeks ago. That's 2025. And then, I think this is the last one. 3 days after that, the first one was June 17th. I was feeling, that was June 17th this year. And then 3 days after that, I sent him on June 20th another $50. That makes $415 that I've sent Sonetta thus far. I don't mean to boast and brag. And that was recently, that was recently. And I'm going to continue. I don't mean to boast and brag. But that's what you do when you respect information and knowledge, and I'm dealing with a brother like Sonetta. That's what he does. That's how he sustains his life. That he's really serious about the information. I try to help where I can. So that's $415 over the last 4 years. I've probably given a lot more than a lot of people that you see all the time. The people that you see on this show all the time. Apostle, Bakwa, and all these people. I'm not hating on none of them. I don't know what they do financially, but I'm telling you, I just showed you what I've done for Sonetter over the years. I'm not doing it for nothing back. I don't want nothing from Sonetter. I give because I can do it, and I respect that he brings information and brings on people that share information. And this is what people like Israel Doctrine are mad about. Well, be mad at this also while you, let me get this out of the way. Be mad at that I can go. Let me see where I want to go. Be mad. Be mad that I can fly to New York and go and sit in Sonetter's house on his chair and talk my shit. Sonetter has been nothing but gracious towards me. So don't ask me to jump on your bandwagon of hatred for this man. This is my story. This is my experience with Sonetter. All that shit that people say, well, that's y'all. This is my experience. Coming to New York, inviting me to his home, allowing me to preach and teach. And here I am teaching. This is the same time. In Jeremiah 44, where the women made cakes to the queen of heaven. Who was the queen of heaven? That was Asherah. That was Ashtaroth. Going on back, that goes back to Isis. They all interconnected because the Hebrews, they enjoyed worshiping other people's gods. They were never strictly monotheists. They were what they call henotheists, which means they accepted their God Yahweh without denying the existence of the other folks' gods. And they loved to practice other folks' religions. This is why the Levites had to come along and write all these terrible laws and all these laws, because their own people were engaging. Now understand that when you read about all this sex, a lot of that was religious worship. Look, the goddess and the sodomite have been doing that man on man, woman on woman, man on woman sex for some 25,000 years before the Hebrew invaders come on the scene. And so when they come on the scene, whew, boy, that boy teaching. I was teaching. I was at Sonetter's in New York City, up in Harlem. But this is the respect that Sonetter has paid me. He gives me such respect that he calls me one of his teachers. Because I know how to give it up. Israel Doctrine, he's mad that he can't afford to go to New York. He's mad that he's never sat on Sonetter's couch. He's mad that he can hardly go up on Sonetter's panel anymore. And again, I just talked to Sonetter an hour ago, and he invited me anytime I want. We can do an interview, we can talk Bible, we can talk about my cult stuff, we can talk about my government stuff, we can talk about whatever. He has given me a carte blanche, open pass to come on his channel when I want to, but I am not thirsty. I'm fine on the sidelines. I said, I am not thirsty like Israel Doctrine. I'm fine on the sidelines. That's right. Now let me talk about something he talked about just yesterday. This is why I am comfortable being on the sidelines when it comes to Sonetter's show. This is why I have no desire to hit Sonetter's link and go up there and be one of the many faces up there talking. You know why? Because I believe in me and I believe in my information. A lot of those people, shout out to all of them. I enjoy listening to them. Don't get it twisted. But a lot of them are looking for affirmation. A lot of them are looking for respect. A lot of them are looking for co-signage. A lot of them are trying to find themselves and looking for, They're trying to get in where they fit in. But when you've written 6 books, when you've written 6 books, you know what you know, what you know, what you know. Am I saying that I have the be-all, end-all knowledge and I can't be corrected? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying I just know what I know. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Just yesterday, I've done extensive research and work, and I have written extensively on goddess worship. I have taught that the goddess precedes the god. That the first humans who began to think about something greater than themselves, they did not think of that thing in terms of Father and God and He and Him. No, they did not. The first humans who began to think that there might be something out there greater than themselves, they thought of that entity and that being as a woman, as feminine, as a female, as she, as her, as goddess, and as creatress. Yes, they did. And so just yesterday, on Monday, July the 14th, Sonetta had a show on called Was the First God of the Bible a Woman / Man or Both? Well, I can answer the question simply by saying that the first God was a woman. The first understandings of divinity were seen as female, as a woman. And I know you Abrahamic faiths and you male chauvinist religious pigs. It's a hard pill to swallow, but a pill you should swallow nonetheless. Even his good wife, the beautiful and talented and intelligent Napa Shada, has touched on this. The feminine, this is not feminism as we understand from white women and all that shit. This is just what it was. Feminism is a title, is a label that's been placed on a movement from the 20th century. But the reality is, God was seen as a woman. I want to show you this clip from Sonetta's, where Sonetta is introducing one of our great scholars, a man named John G. Jackson. I said Sonetta is about to introduce a man, a great scholar who wrote at least 18 books that I can count. And this man, John G. Jackson, he's going to quote, he's going to cite a source that I happen to have right here. See this book right here? When God Was a Woman. See the name? Merlin Stone. What I'm proving to you all is that this is why I don't have to go on Sonetta's and be a part of the panel, because I know that my information is ahead of the curve. And so Sonetta, I said this was yesterday, a day ago. Where does it say when he did this? It don't say. Oh, yes, it is. 22 hours ago, less than a day, 22 hours ago, he did this video. Was the first God of the Bible a woman, man, or both? Now listen, I want you to listen as he's going to introduce this scholar named John G. Jackson, and he is going to refer to this book, When God Was a Woman. Remember the name, Merlin Stone. Let's go.
And said that. It's still bad. Even David said he wanted to worship the woman. He said, I want to see. I'm talking about David of the Bible. Yes. Know your Bible. David said, I want a woman on the throne. I don't want no man on the throne. Am I right or wrong, y'all? How many of you know your Bible? What did David say? David told, he said, man, I want a woman on the throne. I don't
He's speaking facts.
want to worship no man. But, so let's hear what John G. Jackson got to say about all this.
Okay. Now he's going to introduce a man named John G. Jackson. And what does he have to say? Remember, he's about to quote, he's about to cite When God Was a Woman by Merlin Stone. Listen, and you understand why I don't have to go over there.
Was a woman. They said because in the process of evolution, the female sex is the primary sex, and it comes first. So the woman must have become before the man. And if
Okay, here it comes. Merlin Stone, When God Was a Woman. That's the book.
the first human being was made in the image of God, God must have been a woman. And there's a book out now by an author named Merlin Stone, When God Was a Woman.
Bam. You see? You hear what I'm saying? There's a book out there, he says. He says there's a book out there called When God Was a Woman by Merlin Stone. Let's back it up so you can hear it say that.
3 volumes in one, called The Theban Recension of the Book of the Dead.
Here it comes.
And in this, you take this Egyptian Bible and compare it with the King James Bible, which is popular among the Protestant denominations in the United States. And you study the Egyptian Bible and you study the Christian Bible. The Egyptian Bible goes back 10,000 years. The King James Bible only goes back about 300 years.
Oh, I think we passed it. Let's go back 35.
Listen.
All right, this feels almost elite.
Okay, we got to go to the commercial. Let's get that. Let's get the commercial out of here. And then we'll get to it. Excuse me, y'all. Okay.
They said because in the process of evolution, the female sex is the primary sex, and it comes first. So the woman must have become before the man. And if the first human being was made in the image of God, God must have been a woman.
All right. He said God must have been a woman. Now he's going to cite this as a source. When God Was a Woman by Merlin Stone. Listen to him say it.
And there's a book out now by an author named Merlin Stone, When God Was a Woman.
Bam. Dare I say that nobody on Sonetta's program owns this book. Dare I say Sonetta doesn't own this book. I could be wrong. Dare I say that I might be the only person floating around these YouTube conscious community streets that actually has the book that the good brother, the Honorable John G. Jackson, is sourcing. I got the book right here, When God Was a Woman. But I do this to show you all. I do this, I do that, to do this, to show you all that I don't need to go on Sonetta's and argue with a bunch of people that have never read When God Was a Woman. And since they have not read a book like When God Was a Woman, they trying to stand on the patriarchal God of the Abrahamic faiths. And even if they don't stand on the Abrahamic faiths, they still stand on God as a he and a him and a father. And they want to make the first divine being a goddamn man, when we know, without a shadow of a doubt, by reading the great works of people like Merlin Stone's When God Was a Woman, that we can go back 35,000 years, 25,000 years in history, 25,000 BCE. And when we look at the archaeological record, it clearly shows that the feminine divine was here first and way before any type of God and he and male and father and creator came on the scene. And you heard it from the Honorable John G. Jackson. I am in this man's league. This is the league of people that I'm in. When I lecture, I'm not here to be lectured to. I'm not here to go on Sonetters and debate a bunch of folks that have not read the stuff that I know I've read. That's just an example that lets me know that I'm doing the right thing and I'm playing my position. My position is not to go on and debate. I might not be the greatest debater. Not only that, I really use books off my shelf when I source and talk to people. Most of those debaters you see over there, they have these things in PDF form and they know how to pull it up. You know, I'm an old man. My computer skills aren't such where I can go. I can learn it. Don't get it twisted. I can learn it. How to, PDF it and pull it up on the screen. Share my source Sonetter, or I can share my own sources. I could get into all of that. But that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to do that which the universe gave me to do, to teach in this format. I'm a throwback teacher. I believe in ink and paper. I believe in showing you my sources, going to the book and showing every book on my shelf I read, and every book on my shelf. And you can't see all of them. All you see is these two shelves. There's a shelf above, there's a shelf above, there's a shelf below, and there's 5 shelves over there. Don't believe me? There's a shelf of books there, a shelf of books there, shelf of books there, and shelf down there. And there's one way up there, and then that's the one you see. That's the one you see. Well, you don't see that one, and you don't see that one. Same thing up there. You don't see those books, and you don't see the books that are down there behind me. I got more books than I can show you. And so as I wind this down, this fake, false, and pseudo narrative that Israel Doctrine and Gwenetta Greer got going on about my relationship with my brother Sonetter, it's a lie. So when you hear them say that, know that they're lying. And I could be a dick. I could be flippant. I could flex right now and set up a show for tomorrow with Sonetter. Just to prove my point. But I want my audience to know that me and Sonetter are Gucci. Me and Sonetter are good. That I spoke to Sonetter again an hour ago or so. And Sonetter has welcomed me and invited me. Open invitation to come and speak on his channel whenever I so desire. But people like Israel Doctrine, because they don't see me on Sonetters, it's been over a year. They think it's bad blood between me and Sonetter. That's not what it is. What it is that Khalil Amani is his own free-thinking and autonomous voice. That I don't desire to go over there like he desires to go over there and be a part of their conversation. I don't. I'm fine on the sidelines. I have enough to teach on my own without the distractions of so-called debates and arguments and polemics on Sonetter's channel. Sonetta does what he does, and I do what I do. And there are others that go on Sonetters sparingly when they need to, but they don't stay over there regularly. I don't need a cosign. I don't need a stamp of approval. I don't need someone to let me know I'm on the right course. The very fact that Sonetta just yesterday could play a video of a scholar and a historian named John G. Jackson, and he cites a source that I have on my shelf that definitely lets us know that the woman was God before the man, is all the proof I need that I'm in the right place, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and my knowledge is lining up. My scholarship, my academia, and my knowledge is lining up with scholars. Shout out to the Honorable John G. Jackson for citing this book that I, arguably and probably the only person in the conscious community that has ever read this book and owns a copy of the book that a great historian is citing. It's just proof that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and that my scholarship is lining up with the great scholars like John G. Jackson. With that, y'all, shout out to all my supporters. Shout out to my queen, my baby, my YouTube wife, my confidant, the beautiful and talented and intellectual and smart Leak You. She's going big places. I said Leak You is going big places. And while Leak You is going big places, I've gone big places and I'm going to other big places. We are on the upswing. We are on the up and up. While me and my ride or die, Leak You, are going places. Big places. Israel Doctrine and Gwenetta Greer will forever labor in YouTube obscurity. All they have is each other to bounce off each other's lies. About me, about Sonetta, about Leak You. That's all they got. And as we have seen, and as we see, Israel Doctrine is a bridge burner. He's a bridge burner. He cannot hold a relationship with anybody for any length of time. Gwenetta is the only person that will continually give him chance after chance. And according to her right now, she's on a break from his ass. Why do you have to go on a break from his ass? People either fuck with you genuinely or they don't. I don't want to be in a relationship with Leak You or any YouTuber where we argue and bicker and have to back up from one another every other week, every other month. Those are tumultuous relationships. Those are ghettoized relationships. If Israel Doctrine and Gwenetta Greer were in the same space, in the same house, they would be physical towards one another. Did you hear what I said? Relationships like Israel Doctrine and Gwenetta Greer's, where they are nowhere, they're not in the same state, Arkansas and Georgia, and they have to take time away from one another. Imagine if they lived in the same apartment or the same house. They would be throwing fisticuffs. Israel Doctrine would be putting hands on Gwenetta. Israel Doctrine would be slapping the dog shit out of Gwenetta if they lived together. And Gwenetta would be warming up some grits on the stove to throw on that nigga while he sleep. That's how fucked up their relationship is. It would be volatile, combustible. It would be a major situation if Gwenetta and Carl lived in the same house. But don't believe the hype. Khalil Amani and Gwenetta are Gucci good. And in time, when I feel like it, I'll go back over and do a show with Gwenetta. Not to prove what I'm saying, but because I want to. But right now, I don't want or feel the need to go on Sonetters to prove a point to Israel doctrine. All his narratives are just wrong. He's still on the big toe gate. He's still on the big toe gate. A harmless 3-second thing where my grandson crawled over and nibbled on my big toe. And I took a picture of it. He's still on that. He's still trying to convince people that his narrative, that I forced my grandson to do it, and my toe has fungus, and I should be in jail, and all this craziness. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, I'm done. I love you all. Shout out to Gwenetta. Shout out to Leak Shout out to Chris Harris. Shout out to Unseen Soldier. Shout out to Queen's Throne. Shout out to you. Shout out to Zartan. Shout out to the messenger Jafar, the black man. Shout out to Harris. Shout out to everybody that fucks with me. Shout out to Brother Lavelle. Shout out to you that's watching right now. Shout out to you. Shout out to Nepal Shadar. I will continue supporting my brother Gwenetta financially. I know Israel Doctrine is mad as a wolf to see that Khalil Amani gave $415 over a 4-year period to Gwenetta. And that bitch ass nigga, he never got a nickel from me. Because he showed who he was very early. Very early. Oh, do you know that Israel Doctrine would be glad to boast that he was in my pockets? That once upon a time I was paying him? Do you know he would love to say that? But he can't say that because I never gave that nigga a nickel. And let me mention this one last thing about these alleged video tapes of our phone conversation. Let me talk about that for a quick moment. People, there aren't any recordings. There aren't. Now he will say that I'm saying there aren't any recordings so that he can produce the recordings. No, I'm not. That's a lie. People, whatever phone calls Israel Doctrine might have recorded when we were talking, don't you think for a moment that if he has something terrible on me, talking about Gwenetta, talking about Layla Wills, talking about anybody, don't you think that after 8 years of him stalking me, that he would have put this shit out to embarrass me? At what point does Israel Doctrine finally say, I'm going to expose Khalil with these secret recordings? He got nothing, y'all. And whatever he might have, it doesn't amount to a hill of beans. That's why I'm not worried about the future. He thinks he's holding this shit over my head, but he's not. I have no idea who that number is, so I'm going to let it go to voicemail. I said, As bad and as dirty as I have done Israel doctrine, I took his bitch, Molly, the African bitch, I took him from her. I took her from him. The way I shit on his Bible teaching, the way I've done Israel doctrine, you better believe if that nigga has some dirt on me, some substantial dirt on me that could ruin me and really wreak havoc in my life, you better believe that bitch ass nigga would have put it out by now. Don't buy the hype. I'll put it out when I'm ready to put it out. No, he just trying to force me. I put it out on my time. On my time. I'll put out the recordings on my time when I'm ready. 8 years, nigga. 8 years. I done you so fucking dirty. 8 years. And you still walking around here talking about, I'll put them out, I'll put the tapes out on my time when I'm ready. You're not going to force me to put them out. Bitch, nigga, you don't have them. I have done enough dirt to you that you would have put them out if you had something. He ain't got shit. And again, whatever recordings he might have or can dig up, they're not going to reveal anything. All you're going to hear is a very polite Khalil Amani in a phone voice conversation. But there's nothing that he has that he can bring out that's going to wreck my world. Because again, if I had tapes of him and they were damning to destroy that nigga, I would have been put him out. And likewise, if he had tapes of me, conversations that would destroy me, he would have been put them out. All right, y'all. Shout out to everybody that's watching. We're coming right back with eschatology and end-time conversation. We're going to investigate what did Jesus mean when he talked about the abomination of desolation. I'll see you soon. Peace.